Hey tech builders, welcome to the next episode in Staying Safe with Blockchain and Doing Your Due Diligence. Today we're going to talk about token and NFT approvals, what they are, how they work, and how to stay safe with them. And we're actually going to follow up with how to actually revoke them so that you can keep your NFTs and your tokens safe. Here we are with Grug, which is a phishing dApp, and when you go to fish, it actually will take a little bit of ETH, but it also takes some of the Grug tokens. So we have already got some Grug tokens in our wallet, and so when we first go to connect, it's going to ask us to, I'm going to connect, and then it's going to ask us to approve Rug. Now what that means is there's a contract for the phishing, and it needs us to approve it to actually take the ERC20 Rug tokens from our wallet to use to transfer to its wallet or the treasury or whatever it's doing. And so there'll be an approval, because without that approval, it can't transfer our tokens. That's one of the security measures of blockchain. However, there's plenty of ways to have a problem with this. So the spending cap is 100,000, and so this is supposed to take 100,000 Rug. We start up my pointer focus so y'all can see my pointer. There we go, that's better. So it's supposed to take 100,000 Rug, and so you can see it's what you want to look at in MetaMask is here's your spending cap, which is 100,000, and it's this token contract, which is, this is going to be the Rug token. Now you can double check that if you want. You can go over and you can click on the Uniswap link. You can go and look at the actual token contract, which I know that's what it is. Now here we go, count balance. So it actually is Rug. So a spending cap is 100,000 Rug is what it's asking for. And so you want to make sure that it's actually only going to take exactly what you want it to take. Now you could give it an unlimited, you can edit this and say, okay, I want to give it, all my Rug, I want to say you can transfer all of it, or 100 million or whatever, so it has unlimited, so you can keep fishing over and over without approvals. That's up to you. If you trust it, go for it. But you have to be very careful. So you're giving an approval for it to spend your Rug. So rather than just blanket confirm these, you want to roll down, you want to double check. All right, it is Rug. It has the exact spending limit, which is 100,000, which is what it should be. Okay, so I know this one is legitimate. And this one should be accepted because it actually has all of the details. Don't ever just confirm these, because sometimes you'll go to a website and it'll ask you to confirm an approval or whatever the case is, and it might actually be asking you to approve to send all of your USDC or Ethereum or whatever it is, your WETH, your ERC20 version of Ethereum, your wrapped Ethereum, or whatever. It could be asking you to send that instead of the token you think you're approving. And so it's really important that you read what's in MetaMask or whatever wallet is that you're using. But you want to read it and make sure it's actually what you expect it to be. So we're going to confirm this. And so this is going to go through, it'll give the approval. And once that's finished, then I can actually do the transaction. All right, now this is also asking to approve the NFT. Now, with this system, when you fish, you will actually spend some Rug tokens, but then you also catch a fish, which your fish are an NFT. And that NFT can go into staking. And so it's already asking you to approve that, so that at the time when the dialog comes up and says you caught a fish, you've already approved the fish for staking. So once again, okay, fine, we're going to approve the NFT, because once again, I trust the site, I trust the project. So this is saying it's going to withdraw all, or it can withdraw. It has the approval for interacting with this contract. Now see, this is permission for, this must be the token contract or the NFT contract. So if you don't know, then you're going to want to, this one's the the NFT contract right up here. If you don't know, you're going to want to make sure and go and double check. So you could go here, you could, don't know if it'll let me copy that, I hope it will. Okay, so I copied that, and I can come over here to base scan org, and I can paste that in here. And let's see what, there it is. It's an ERC 1155. It's a contract. It's the fish drift. So I know it's the NFT contract for the fish. So I know that it's actually legitimate. So once again, you want to double check that what you're approving is what you expect it to be approving. So this is actually the fish drift contract. And so you're giving approval for set approval for all for it to transfer your fish drift, your fish NFTs, which is fine. We'll do that. All right, so that is confirmed. So now we can start fishing. All right, so let's go take a look at what the actual approval transaction itself. So we approved rug. Let's go over here and view it on Block Explorer. So what did this say? We approved, and we can go decode the input. We approved the spender is this address, and the amount is this. Now that's in we, and we'll look at that in a second. So first, let's look at the spender. The spender should be the phishing contract. So read as proxy, so we can't really see there, but you can see ABI for the implementation at contract at, and this is the address, and this is our phishing contract. Okay, so we went down and we looked and made sure that that approval is actually, so we're allowing the phishing contract to spend our token. And let's look at the amount. Now this is we, so I'm going to copy this, and then if I go over to, if I can go to more, and then I can go to unit converter, and I can say, okay, this is we. This, I pasted that in here, and I can see in ETH, that's 100,000. So Solidity, or the EVM machines, do not do decimal points. So instead they have 18 decimals, but it's without decimal points. So this is 100,000 here, and the rest of this is basically here, after the decimal. So that's how it does it. So it's called we. But this is 100,000. So we know that we have that right. So the transaction approved this address to spend that amount. All right. So that's how that works. So you can always double check, and there's nothing wrong with digging into it and confirming you're doing what you expect you're doing, and to make sure that you're safe. All right. So here's another way you can do it, is if you have, so for example, we have approved, let's go over here and look at this. So I've approved this address to spend tokens. Well, how about, let's copy this address. Let's go to the token contract, which is where we did our approval. So we're on the rug token. And I can go to write contract. Now I can go to read contract, and I can do the same thing. I can say, what's the allowance? So the owner, so the spender is here, and the allowance is how much can be spent. So I'm going to take my address, I'm the owner, and how much can this spender spend? And there we go, that's the amount in we. And if I click on that, it comes back here and shows me 100,000 tokens. So that's right. So we can do query here and find out how much the allowance is. Now, we can also come here, we can connect our wallet, and we can either decrease the allowance, we can increase the allowance, we can actually set a new approval. There's a lot of things we can do. So how about if I decrease the allowance? So I'm going to go over here, go back to read contract. Now I'm going to say, here's the spender. I'm going to say, okay, spender, and then I'm going to subtracted value. I'm going to subtract 10,000 or 10,000, and then click here, and you can go 10 to the 18, because remember, it's got to go, we're converting 10,000 to we, which is 18 decimals. Now, if I do this, so what I'm doing is I am decreasing allowance, confirm, and let's wait for that to finish. All right, that's confirmed. Now, if I go back over here, this shouldn't be 100,000 anymore. It's 90,000. I just decreased the allowance. So the way it's set up is you can give an approval for a set amount, and then as that amount is used, the allowance is decreased. So if it's 100,000 to fish and I gave allowance for 500,000, after the first time it would have an allowance for 400,000, and then 300 and 200, etc. And that is how you can actually say they can only spend this amount, and then every time it decrements, so they can only ever spend that amount. So allowance is very important, and approvals are important, but you should always know exactly who you have allowances to, which is why I suggest that you go to sites like Revoke.Cash. And what this does is, this is really cool, so I can connect my wallet, and it will show me, you can select whichever chain you want, so I'm on base. It will show me all of the approvals that I have, and it will allow me to revoke them. So you can see I've got the 90,000 in rug, which we just talked about, and then these are both the fish drifts, but they were to different contracts. And then here's another one, so I'm just going to revoke all of these, and I am going to well, no tip for now. All right. And you have to confirm, because these are all individual transactions. They can't be sent through an intermediary. They all have to come from you. And so now I have no approvals. Awesome. So if I come back over here and I look at this and I query, my approval's 0. So this is how you stay safe. You should go to a site like Revoke.Cash and double check your wallets and see who you have approvals to, who has approvals to spend any of your tokens. You'll need approvals on Uniswap and DEX tools and wherever else that you are using any tools that you might have to have approved to be able to interact with them. And so it's always good to go back through here and get rid of all of your approvals. Once in a while, just clean it up. One of the things you can do here, I was actually spending some time on this site earlier, is you can look at their exploits. I think this is actually really cool. So you can go back, you can come over here once in a while and look at exploits, and just scroll down here and see, have I worked with any of these? Have I done anything with any of these sites or any of these protocols? And then you can actually check and see, you can enter your address to see if you're affected. Really cool. I love the way they've done this. This is actually excellent. And then there's an extension you can install. That's a matter, I try to keep my extensions limited. The more stuff you have, the easier it is to be exploited, so I try and keep it very limited and clean, although this one is actually to help you avoid phishing. And they have some other things on here, but they have a nice educational section here. I'm not getting paid by Revoke or anything. It just happened to be something I came across, and I actually like what they're doing here. I think it's really, really beneficial. There's a signature section, and so you can find out if you've given any approvals, any signatures. Like if you go to OpenSea, you need to provide a signature to be able to interact with the site. So there's other things like that. And then they've got this is kind of neat, it's a coverage for wallet training, and so it's kind of insurance. I don't know about that. Didn't dig into it, not a thing. But you can definitely take a look at it. But the point here is, take a look at MetaMask when you're approving. Double check everything, make sure you're approving what you think you're approving, and make sure it's the right contracts, make sure it's the right amounts. Don't just click confirm, because this is how you get scammed. This is how a lot of scams work, a lot of phishing scams, because they'll actually say, click here and approve this or do this, and if you don't read the details, that's how you actually get rugged, or how you get exploited. And then go to sites like Revoke, and there are other sites out there. Be careful. Obviously, you need to go to one that's notable and trustworthy, but go through and revoke the approvals on all the contracts you can on a regular basis. Now, I realize you have to go back and approve, maybe Uniswap or whatever, but to be honest, if Uniswap gets exploited and you've already given approvals, they'll drain you. So it's always good to just play it safe and revoke everything you can whenever you can. So until next time, keep building awesome tech.
Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain.